pause that preview because that's really distracting. It's Tuesday, November 17th, 2020. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geek Nights. Tonight, we are reviewing Ricochet, a Half-Life mod from the year 2000. So, as you know, Joe Biden did, in fact, win the presidency. Like, we crossed that bridge, but we still have to win that Senate race, or we can't really do anything in this country until the year 2022 because of how messed up our government, structure is. So, because of weird nonsense, there are 2 Senate races that are deferred until January that literally determine which of the 2 American parties control our entire government effectively.
Mm-hmm.
So, unrelated to that, as many of you know, I don't open loot boxes in Overwatch, ever. Mostly because it annoys many of you that I don't open them. Every time I stream Overwatch, at least a couple people bother me about it. That number bothers them. That seeing that, unopened number just sitting there, 1,102, it was bothersome to them.
The loot box number doesn't bother me, but I am bothered, actually, when I look at other people's phones and I see all these red dots of, notifications that are unread.
Oh, that bothers me, too. I'll admit.
If you're not gonna read your notifications or clear them or read all your email, just disable the notifications. It's you know
what bothers me way more than that is when I see a screenshot of someone's phone with 1% battery left.
Yeah, it's why are you not what are you doing that your phone isn't plugged in? I don't understand.
But basically, I did a thing where I donated $1 for every unopened loot box I had to Stacey Abrams' Fair Fight, and then I played Overwatch with a bunch of our friends, listeners and friends, until we raised an equivalent donation of the number of loot boxes to Fair Fight, and the deal was...
Reverse matching?
Yep, reverse matching. If the listener matched however many loot boxes I had and how much I had donated, then I would just stop playing Overwatch and open all the loot boxes on stream. We went way over the goal. So
you would play Overwatch until people paid enough money.
That was the goal, but people donated real quick.
If people weren't donating and you had to play Overwatch, you might still be playing now.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it was play Overwatch until people donated enough money to match my loot boxes.
Right, if people didn't donate...
I would have just kept playing. Or I would have bought myself out. I would have donated twice as much myself so I could stop playing.
Oh, okay.
I probably would have done that at some point. But the listener actually went way beyond the target. So I ended up also matching any donations anyone made above my original match.
So then you had a reverse match.
Yep. So with all that combined, we raised a grand total of $4,006 for the Georgia Senate race, which... That's real money. That'll make it. That's enough money that could make a serious difference. And I want to point out,
you could have bought a computer for some money instead, 2 computers.
Yeah, really? But instead, this is not donating to their campaigns in Georgia. There's plenty of people funding, rich people can fund the people actually running. This is going to an org that focuses almost entirely on voting access and anti-voter suppression, which is way more important than any particular race. It just so happens that fighting voter suppression
is in the future.
But it just so happens that fighting voter suppression in America automatically helps Democrats in all cases for some magical reason that you can figure out if you read a paragraph of any history book.
Mm.
So yeah, that drive is done. Thank you all. A few people donated a lot of money, and I really thank you for that. But a lot of people donated
money. Donate more money.
A lot of people donated $5, $10. That's also totally cool. Give what you can. If you're poor, don't donate thousands of dollars to political campaigns.
No, if you don't have any, you don't give any. Like I said, even if there's a good reason, right? Giving money to this is better than giving money to Rim's Patreon or whatever.
Yep.
But if you got no money...
don't be giving other people money if you don't have money.
Yeah, no matter how good it is to give them money, right? It's you got nothing, bro. Don't... It's for you. You need it.
But the thing I want to mention really about this is that turns out it takes a long fucking time to open that many loot boxes. Good God, did the stream take 5 hours.
Yep.
At one point, I just balanced a Blades in the Dark book on the spacebar and walked away, opening all my basic-ass loot boxes.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna actually talk about Hearthstone today in the news for the first time in a very long time. But
Yep.
I remember back in the day, it's like the streamers would buy Hearthstone packs when new sets came out, and they'd buy hundreds of packs to sort of guarantee getting all the cards because they needed them all. And even though they were like very tight with Blizzard, right, to varying degrees,
Yep. Yep.
they still had to hold the space bar and open all the packs, and it took them forever. And some people would watch those streams because it would be like, oh, you got a golden card, wow, what that kind of moment. But
Yeah.
did you have any of those moments like, wow, the ultra rare amazing skin came out of the loot box?
So
Wow.
the only moments I had, because the thing I do in Overwatch, there's you get voice lines and bind them to keys, so your character can like basically play a wave file at everyone who's near you in game. Yeah, and there's a lot of them. So what I did for
until now, you've only had the standard one.
Oh no, because so that 1,100 loot boxes, I actually opened all the loot boxes I got for like the first 6 months that Overwatch was out, a little bit longer. I only stopped opening them one day when someone got annoyed that I had a bunch of unopened ones, and I was like, you know what? I'm never opening them again.
Okay, so you opened them for the second.
I opened them for a while in the beginning, so I accrued over 1,000 since that one listener was annoyed at me, and I vowed to never open them again.
Yeah, that's easier than like a Hearthstone pack is actually game affecting.
Yeah, these are 100% cosmetic.
These are 100% cosmetic. It's like you don't need any of those.
But I got a few particularly annoying voice lines because my only goal with those voice lines is to bind for each character the most annoying possible voice line to use at critical moments. So like the Torbjorn, the little dwarfy guy, he has one where he's just like, hard work pays off. And you can spam it to where he's just sitting there going, hard work, hard work, hard work.
Favorite thing, make annoying noises to bother other people.
Oh my God, there's one annoying one. It's so long that I could actually spam it forever.
Okay.
I look forward to using that in play.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking of Hearthstone, what's this news that everyone's mad about?
So up until now, the way Hearthstone worked is that if you wanted cards or whatever, you had to fucking buy them, right? And when you played Hearthstone, you could get a certain amount of gold there was a certain amount of progression you could get by just playing Hearthstone, right? A certain amount of gold you could earn. I think if you got like 3 wins a day every day, and there's like just a certain amount, and like that was it. Like you knew. It wasn't very high. Like if you could play a ton of Hearthstone, and basically like the amount of gold you can get was sort of capped without spending real money. But you sort of knew what that amount was, and you knew how much you had to play to sort of get that amount that was coming to you.
Yeah.
So they decided to change things up. I don't know all the details of the new system because it's been a few years since I played Hearthstone, and I'm very unlikely to play it again. Especially, and this is like the coffin was already nailed shut.
Like the game is fun, but I cannot deal with collectible anything anymore.
Right. Well, this is like the coffin on Hearthstone for me was sealed shut a few years ago, but this news is basically somebody coming into a dusty crypt, finding a nailed shut coffin opened that no one has wanted to open, but it says on it like vampire inside, do not open, and the guy goes, "Whoa, someone in the future might accidentally open this. Let me weld it shut." And that's what this news is. Right. So what they're doing now is this some sort of like experience-based system for getting like you reach certain goals during the season, week, whatever, I don't know. And also like when sets come out, they're like releasing sort of mini sets and like more cards over time. I guess that's actually sort of a good idea because it keeps things a little fresher instead of having a big card drop all at once and then sort of nothing for a long period. It's like, here's a drop, and then a few weeks later, okay, here's some more, here's 20, 30 more cards, and then, okay, here's more, right?
Yep. There's pros and cons. When I was a middle schooler with Magic, if there was a new Magic set every week, I would have been totally down for that.
That's sort of what, closer to one of the good parts about, the living card games like the Netrunner, right? More frequent changes to the game spice things up, right? But the overall story here is that people, of course, dug deep and did the math on this. And it's like, yeah, if you are not spending money on Hearthstone with the current new system that is hard to understand, that I'm not going to invest much time in trying to understand it, it seems that it is most likely, they're not even 100% sure because it's such a mess. It is most likely that you are, despite them saying that they would not decrease how much you could earn for free, it seems like, yeah, if you're not paying money, you're getting less cards and stuff for free.
Yeah.
And if you do pay money, it's probably going to cost you more to play.
This article goes into pretty good depth about like exactly what's going on and has some like preliminary numbers. I guess what bothers me about this whole situation just generally is that half of what's going on with like the bot, like just how this entire gold system works is just because of capitalism and like they have to monetize this game somehow.
Yeah.
While also making it as addictive as possible.
Yep. It just and also I think as the popularity of it sort of mirrors what happens in a lot of nerdy niche things, right? We talk about this a lot in the comic book world, right? Where it's like a nerdy thing has an audience large enough with enough money to keep it alive, but the audience is shrinking. So they need, instead of finding a way to expand the audience, right? Nothing they're doing is like doing outreach to get more people to play Hearthstone who aren't playing it now. Everything they're doing is milk more from the people who are still playing Hearthstone, right? The audience is smaller. Let's squeeze more juice from the same, fruit, right? I just keeps bringing me back to that old idea of like, hey, just make an online card game, just like Magic Arena or Hearthstone, and just charge the flat subscription like WoW and give everyone everything and make frequent small updates to keep it fresh all the time.
The problem with that is that you can't make enough money with that model to actually keep a game going.
You could make enough money to keep the game going. You would just have a small dev team and just keep it going nice and easy. Don't try to, don't expect to be mega rich Blizzard style, right? It wouldn't make enough money for it to be worth it for a Blizzard Activision level of company to keep it alive. They'd be like, what are the revenues on that? Why are we investing? Why are we keeping this thing around? This isn't making any money. But that amount of money, while being minuscule for them, would still be enough for like a house full of devs and artists.
Maybe. That all costs a lot.
Yeah.
And also, I think a lot of these types of monetization I almost said scams because I kind of feel that way. They really prey on addictive behavior and variable reward schedules. And I think the amount of money they extract from player bases, and I'm not saying that Hearthstone is like specifically bad in this regard. This is an industry-wide problem.
Bad, but it's actually one of the less evil, right? And that's saying a lot. That's how evil the other ones are.
But like, I am not really comfortable or cool with the variable reward schedules that are built into games to make them more engaging in this regard. And I don't know how games can.
Those variable reward schedules are related to money, right? If you play auto chess or an auto chess-ish game, you're still enjoying that same luck variable reward schedule situation because it's a random game mostly.
Yep.
But you are not paying money to spin the wheel. You're just spinning the wheel like a free slot machine where you don't put money in and money doesn't come out. It's just points. You get points and all you do, you don't put anything in, right? Whereas, a real slot machine in a real casino, you put money in and sure, money probably isn't going to come out over time, but it could. It's a non-zero chance and it's not rigged. You could win the like progressive jackpot and there's a non-zero chance. It's like a 1 in a zillion chance, but it's a non-zero chance. Right?
But there's this weird side problem of, I get the impression a lot of people who play games like this, and again, I'm not calling Hearthstone out here. We just happen to be talking about Hearthstone. It's better than other games in this regard, too. I feel like there are a lot of people who, when they play these games, they're almost playing more for their completionist set collecting model than for the game itself, because those are the people who care about this. Well, I need X gold to get everything. Yeah. And I wonder if, like, my metric for if a game is ethical is, I don't know where the line is, but there's a line somewhere. What percentage of players without that variable reward meta system would not play the game at all? Even if there's no money involved. Like, who would not play without that automatic progression stuff?
Like I was saying, right, the Hearthstones and the other loot boxes of the world, right, you're putting money in like it's a real slot machine and nothing comes out, right? It's like, right, and it's not even like an arcade game where like, you put a quarter in a Pac-Man. It's even worse than that.
But the nothing that comes out is tied to a game that is itself fun. It'd be like if I sat down as a slot machine and it was like Advance Wars, and I'm just playing Advance Wars, and it's just fun. I'm putting money in to keep playing Advance Wars, but I'm not really trying to get anything out of it other than the enjoyment of the activity. But that's where
there are indeed people who play something like Hearthstone, and it's like they probably log in, and in the previous system at least, where I think you had to get like 3 wins or something to get their gold each day or something.
They log in every day, they get their 3 wins, they stop playing.
Exactly. I think there were people who would do that, and versus the people who are playing it like as an esport who would play it constantly in order to get better at it and improve and get their skills up and try to win the competitions and such, right? But I think even those people would make sure to get 3 wins every day.
The problem is, I think without this gold system, if there were not like if if Hearthstone didn't have to be monetized to this degree, and it was just the online digital card game, it would be crazy fun, and I'd probably still be playing it.
Maybe,
but I can't I cannot engage with these loot box systems at all anymore.
I'm actually, the Magic Arena has like drafting online, I think, which would be fun, I think, except it's not free, I don't think.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I said I don't think like 10 times, but I would love to play a game online where it was sort of like you actually do a real draft with other human beings and then play against them in like a tournament, right? Sort of get that feeling I had when
That's a little bit like why Auto Chess captured us for a little while.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, so in some other news of gamers mad about something, Twitch has also ticked off a whole bunch of. Now, this is not the DMCA thing, but it's actually more related to it than you might think.
Yeah, so here's the deal. There's a music company, right? It's like a record label, I think, called Music Something Cat. What is it called?
Oh God, it's buried somewhere in this article.
I don't know the name of them. I haven't heard
Monster Cat.
Today. Monster Cat. So some record label or something called Monster Cat. And Monster Cat made a deal with Twitch, and the deal is, hey, you are a Twitch streamer, you buy a Monster Cat subscription, right? So you subscribe to Monster Cat's record label service, whatever it is, and they're going to let you stream their music on Twitch and be safe, right? And not have to worry about any copyright bullshit. And it's like, oh, that's actually, rather than have Twitch make the deal, right? This is, first of all, Twitch should be the one paying the music license, not the streamer.
Yep.
So they're basically shoveling off that cost, right, to the streamer.
The streamer paying would be a situation where there is a celebrity streamer with their own business around it. Like, that's a very different world from the vast majority of Twitch streamers.
But anyway, so you can pay Monster Cat, and then you can stream their music in your stream.
It's only $5 a month.
Right, yeah. In addition to this, you will then also immediately achieve Twitch affiliate status. So if people aren't aware, if you're a streamer on Twitch, you start out with no status. So if you go to my Twitch channel, which has no status, basically I don't have any custom emotes. You can't sub to me. Like, you just can't. You cannot subscribe to my Twitch channel. You can't give me bits. You can't do anything. I cannot make money on Twitch. I don't know if you see ads if you watch my channel. You probably do.
Yep. It's a very different world from how YouTube monetization works. They're like completely different.
If my stream gets popular enough, Twitch will then allow me to become a Twitch affiliate. I think I'm pretty close to that. Not that I would. I don't think
the bar's real low to get affiliate. Like,
it's the only thing I don't
this
have is,
fucking stream, this YouTube stream is way above the requirements. Like, just GeekNights Live.
Right, we're talking about my personal Twitch doesn't have 5
True.
average viewers, right? So, but yeah, even if I did reach that, I probably wouldn't take it because, like, I don't want it. But that is what lets you, once you have that, it's like, okay, well, now you can have subs, now you can take bits, now you get some custom emotes, now you get some stuff, right?
Yep.
If you get really big, we're talking a whole bunch of other metrics, but the biggest metric, the hardest one to achieve, is 75 average viewers. That's average. So, like, if you're,
average across like 12 different days and 20 or 30 hours of streaming a month.
Right, worth of your stream, and they say, where's the average viewership over this total thing? 75. So that means when you start your stream and there's no one there and you wait for like people to see and come in, all those minutes of like 10 streamers, 20 streamers need to be counterbalanced by later minutes in your stream, which have 80, 100 viewers, right? But anyway, so you need to have that. And then you apply, and if they approve you, you can become a Twitch partner. And if you're a Twitch partner, then you can really make money on Twitch. If, like, you're not making big money, relatively speaking, to the world, but people live by being Twitch partners, right?
Yep.
They can quit their jobs and live in a low expense place.
Like, for a lot of people, being a Twitch partner is a big deal, but becoming an affiliate, not really a big deal.
No, but there are a lot of, if you look on Twitch, the vast majority of people with their Twitch streams, right, are struggling to reach even affiliate, right? If you click on a game, think of a game that you like, I don't know, Smash Brothers, whatever, right? Go to Twitch, click on Smash Brothers, and you'll see all the Smash Brothers streams. And at the top, you'll see a bunch of people who are Twitch partners. And then you'll see some people who are affiliates, like a few. And then you'll see a long, long list of people with 1, 0, 2 maybe viewers, right? A lot of people, and none of those people are even affiliate. They're all nothing, right? And those people want to be affiliate. And here you have a situation where you can pay money to a company that has a business relationship with Twitch to instantly get affiliate status, even if you have no viewers, even if you signed up for Twitch yesterday. And that's sort of shady, right?
Well, it's tricky because on one hand, like below that threshold, how much money could you actually even make?
Well, that's
even if you were an affiliate.
Exactly. The reason Twitch has this system is because for them, how much money does Twitch make off of you if you're not bringing in the viewers, right? They want to both encourage people to, try really hard to get more viewers, right? So that they'll make more money and they'll be able to make money, and then Twitch will make money off them because their stream is big enough and worth showing ads on. But if somebody's stream is just so sad that no one ever watches it, you're actually costing Twitch money because you're not bringing in, even if they let people sub to you, no one would sub to you. You're just using their bandwidth for free. So like if you can't cut it, they actually want you to leave and stop streaming.
Yep. Like YouTube, remember there was a bunch of YouTube monetization problems a while back where people complained that YouTube wouldn't let them monetize their videos if they were too small. But like, yeah, if you have 4 viewers a month, you're not good. No ads. No one wants to put an ad on a channel that has 4 people watching it.
Right. They actually want you to stop streaming. They're purposefully discouraging you.
Or in the very least, they don't want to pay you to stream.
Right. So this whole system exists to both encourage streamers to try to, do what Twitch wants them to do to control their behaviors. And also here again, it's like, okay, we'll let you make money off your Twitch stream and whatever. You're paying $5, so now we know we're getting money from you, even if no one watches you, right? Probably Twitch is probably getting money from the record company in reverse.
But I guess what it's interesting to me that people are so mad about this particular issue because what you're paying for is Monster Cat Gold. That's what you're actually paying for. The fact that Twitch lets you be an affiliate if you pay that money seems to be completely immaterial to anything except ego. Because a lot of people who are very small-time streamers who get that email like, hey, you're a Twitch affiliate, like they really frame it as leveling up. And people really get excited about that and invested in that. And
yeah, it's like, look, someone can, you've been spending your whole life with no viewers, watching big-time streamers, subbing to them, and suddenly... all right, you have finally, after much difficulty, right, and much time invested in streaming, guess what? Now you can have people sub to you. That's, if you're living in the Twitch world, that's a huge deal to like some kid, who has no money and no job or whatever.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you ignore that, like, ego perception thing, the actual money that you could make is, like, negligible at that level. If you're below the level of affiliate status.
No money and no job.
Yeah, but even like below affiliate status, if you got any subs that could actually raise real money, you would already be an affiliate. Like you'd already get above that level naturally. So it's interesting to me, like the anger seems to be coming from the mass of streamers who are basically just running into all these problems because they're trying to make this a job. But honestly, this is not a viable job for 99.99% of all people who try to do it.
Yep. Anyway.
And independently, Twitch is making a lot of moves like this recently. We talked about the DMCA apocalypse that's happening over there. I think Twitch I'd still suspect that Twitch as a business unit is in not great financial straits, but I do not have any evidence of that other than the behavior of Twitch in public over the last few months.
I don't know. I think that they're actually, considering the business model of the 21st century of lose money, get a monopoly. Once you've got a monopoly, you set the terms, right?
Yep.
Twitch, I think, is definitely, in terms of streaming things online live for average people to just broadcast video to an audience and engage with them, is pretty much king. No one else is really up there. So they're closest to hitting that once, I guess if YouTube streaming will never go anywhere, but it's not a thing, right? So as long as it doesn't become a thing, and Facebook stream definitely isn't a thing.
Yeah. Mixer
then-
die, like there's no more competition, and so
Right.
there's two players in this space, and that's that.
Right. So they will they're entering the phase slowly of continuing basically to leverage their monopoly position, at least in the parts of the world where Twitch is king, right?
Yep. But YouTube already went through. Part of the reason why Twitch is getting so much flack for this is that YouTube under Google already went through a lot of these growing pains. Like YouTube does not monetize tiny channels. YouTube has a lot of demonetization stuff that they did, and people freaked out about, and now no one's talking about it anymore because
YouTube also pays music licensing.
Yep. And YouTube has it.
If you put music in your YouTube thing, even with permission or whatever, YouTube pays the correct music licenses, and the money is sent to the songwriters and artists and whatever appropriately according to law, to the best of YouTube's ability.
Well, YouTube also has a DMCA takedown, counter takedown system that Twitch refuses to implement.
Right, but but the point is, it's Twitch doesn't do anything. Twitch doesn't pay the money they're supposed to be paying.
Yep.
And I think other services as well. I think that from what I'm aware of, possibly the other things, like I think if you make a TikTok with like a song in it, that I think they actually are also paying appropriately. Different services are paying and aren't, right? And into different places they're paying as well, using different methods and different deals. It's a messy world back there, but Twitch is not doing well in that world.
Exactly. I think it's partly that they, for whatever reason, like YouTube built all this stuff around DMCA things, which actually gave them a lot of like a huge head start on avoiding the kinds of problems that Twitch is having now. What was interesting to me is how the music industry went so hard, so suddenly at Twitch. I'd love to hear what conversations happened before that, if any.
Well, I think it really follows Amazon, right? Amazon owns Twitch, right? And it's really following the Amazon philosophy of that everything Amazon does is to the benefit of its customer, right? And to the benefit of itself, and they always fuck over everyone else, right? So Twitch really does things to favor Twitch viewers and to favor, Amazon and Twitch itself, and probably fuck over, right, streamers and, partners at pretty much everyone else in the middleman area, right? Twitch is not going to be friendly to, right?
Yeah.
Musicians getting their music played on Twitch, it's like Amazon's like, no.
Yep.
Right? The same way that Amazon.com itself, hurts, the sellers.
Well, remember all the fights between Sony's entertainment divisions and Sony's hardware divisions over the years? Like, they basically, like, one of them could destroy the other one. So
Anyway.
this is a space we'll just keep watching. I feel like there's going to be a big story in this particular space every Tuesday episode for the foreseeable future, the way things are going.
We'll see.
All right, one other news. Kind of a big one, actually. So Star Wars, X-Wing, Legion, Armada, all that stuff is moving to, Marvel Crisis Protocol Studio?
Well, no. So it's not actually called Marvel Crisis Protocol.
Yeah, well, really, it's Atomic Mass Games, which is really Asmodee.
Yes. So Asmodee, is a French board game company that's sort of becoming the big. It's like the king of.
They're the second largest board game publisher in the world behind Hasbro.
Yep. All of the, there used to be lots and lots of small to medium-sized players in the nerd board game space.
Remember Mayfair Games?
Right. And a lot of those companies, we've done news on this, were basically absorbed, bought out by Asmodee.
Z-Man, Plaid Hat, Philosophia, a whole bunch of German companies I've never heard of.
Pretty much every, like Games Workshop, no, right?
Days of Wonder, Fantasy Flight.
Right. So Fantasy Flight, we talked about that news when they got bought out, because Fantasy Flight...
It was technically a merger.
Technically.
Right.
And what's been happening since then is, I think we last talked about it with Fantasy Flight's RPGs getting shut down because not too many people actually bought them.
Yep.
Right. I think like I never heard of anyone actually playing them, and then when I brought it up, I think maybe one or two people.
A few listeners came out of the woodwork and were like, "Oh yeah, they had some neat stuff going on, but they used special proprietary dice."
Yep, that's true. Anyway, so the news now is that to my knowledge, the most profitable, highest revenue portion of Fantasy Flight's business was the miniatures business, right? They had these X-Wing played X-Wing miniature game. You can even see that game on sale like everywhere, like regular old Target, regular old Barnes and Noble, like everywhere. Rim even got some by accident from Amazon.
Yep, I still got them. I saw them recently when I was cleaning out a closet.
That is not only was that a very popular game, much more popular than people might realize, but it's a very high margin business. You basically, making these cheapo plastic minis that are already painted, and putting a few cards in a box and charging an arm and a leg for them. And people out there who play this game are buying everything, right, that you put out. And the margins are huge. They made a lot of money on those miniatures. And now Asmodee is basically like, yeah, you know what? We're going to take all those Fantasy Flight people that were working on this game. Goodbye. You're either fired or you're going to move over to this other company that we own. And this other company that we own is now going to do all the development of those games. And the Fantasy Flight division isn't going to do them anymore. Right. It's like, hey, you got your company that you work at got bought by a company that does a similar thing to you, and they took your work and gave it to someone else and let you go, right? And so Fantasy Flight itself, I think, is clearly slowly being dissolved, right? I just like, what do they still do? What games do they have left that Asmodee hasn't chopped up and given to some other, or shut down or given to someone else yet, right? They're really tightening the strings on them. I think they're already super tight. They're like as tight as can be. And I'll be surprised if Fantasy Flight, I guess, continues to exist at all some years from now.
Yeah, because the brand Fantasy Flight, like the people who were like, oh, I'm a Fantasy Flight Games fan.
Oh, they have the key forge, whatever.
Exactly. But that is an audience that is sort of niche and relatively siloed. They're not niche, but they're like expanded market, relatively siloed. I think it's pretty easy to pick that silo up and park it under a different brand name without losing people.
Yep. But yeah, there's so much. This Fantasy Flight is just like a big mess of stuff to discuss. But
every time we talk about Fantasy Flight, I feel like the correct response is to sigh a little bit and then start talking about them. There's like so much good and so much just confusing nonsense that happens with them.
Right, but yeah, the strings were tightening from their owner, right, their new owner, and now they're extra tight. And this is sort of like, oh, they got broke. This is sort of like, wow, they're done now. This is over the hill. We are now, the roller coaster has just now crested and is going down.
But we're now in a position to where two companies publish the vast majority of all tabletop games on Earth.
Well, mass market tabletop games, right?
Mass market, and I would argue the extended market is also covered by that.
Mm-hmm.
Because like Asmodee, that's a lot of extended market, like Euro games that have audiences in like parts of Europe or among nerds that have PAX, but no one's gonna buy that at a Toys R Us. Hasbro is edging into that space.
Like us retreat into even more nerdier games, right?
Considering the 18XX game we're playing right now.
Exactly, right? It's like, oh, well, I guess, the whole world, we started out playing Catan just like everyone else in the year 2000.
And now Catan is in Toys R Us.
Yeah, so now I look at a Catan like the way I used to look at Monopoly.
What do we always say from that Jackbox we played a long time ago? As I age, my predilections become increasingly esoteric.
Right, and it's like, well, now I'm playing like some train nonsense. It's like, what are we gonna play next? Like, scratching out something on a.
You know what? You realize the next step, Scott, is historical refereed war games. That's the end. That's when you hit the bottom.
I don't know if that's the end. I think there might be some new ends developed.
You know what? You know what's below refereed war games? Full immersion LARP war games.
I don't know.
That's historical reenactment. You're going to grow a beard and put on a Union uniform and carry a musket, and that's what's going to happen.
Anyway, but yeah, that's a thing.
Yep. So really briefly, I think this is important news, but I'm not going to talk a lot about it because you should just go watch this. But this year, this is relatively new. The 2020 Video Game Accessibility Awards happened. This is a very important thing. Able Gamers is involved. Alana Pierce and, oh God, I forget the guy's name, but he's super cool. I started following him on Twitter a while ago. But basically, they did the live stream of the awards, and this awards show was one of the best award shows I've ever watched because they actually spent time talking about not just like, oh, here are the winners, but why they won.
I know, right?
Imagine if the Oscars were like, this movie won because of X, Y, and Z. This is Best Actor because of this scene.
Exactly. They can't do that. You know why?
Because they don't fucking, it's random.
Their system for selection is bullshit. They can't explain why.
Yep.
Right?
But
here, the system for selection is like the Eisner Awards could do that if they wanted to, but they like to, not. Anyway.
Steve Spoon, that's his name. But Alina and Steve did the stream. It's like an hour and a half long. Like this is really worth watching. This is a space that does not get enough attention in games and game design. Like best practices are still like only now starting to evolve and start to be like accepted among the industry. So
I do also think that if you're talking about game accessibility versus just like an Oscar award, which is more of a is that an Oscar award is more of a subjective thing. It's like, best actor or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you're measuring how accessible a game is, obviously it's not 100% objective.
But there's a rubric to follow. You know what? It's more like rubric scored Olympic events where it's
I think it's even more objective than that a little bit, right?
Yeah, well, like here's an example. Like the categories they had this year were things like house rules, like games that support house rules that themselves allow accessibility to be crafted by players, because they make a good point about how no game can be called accessible. You can't say a game's accessible because there's such a long tail of very specific accessibility needs that might come down to one individual person with a specific problem.
Correct.
So like Among Us won that because the customizability of Among Us adds a huge amount of accessibility to that game.
Yep. If you've got someone with like way bad reflexes and they have to use like a really crummy input device because that's the best they can use. I always remember this one dude at RIT who was in like the CS labs, and the only part of his body he could move, I guess, reliably. I don't know exactly what the person's illness was, but basically they would poke the keyboard with basically a long pencil attached to their head, and they were getting along just fine, but they weren't using their arms or legs. And it's like, if that person wanted to play Among Us, you would just make everyone have to move real slow, and then everyone would basically be in the same situation. You wouldn't, because obviously there can't be too dexterous with that, right?
Yep.
This is limits, so.
All right, that's probably enough news. I was going to talk about the 20 years of Counter-Strike a little bit, but we can just save that.
Yeah, it's fine. It's already
exactly.
Anyway.
All right.
Things of the day.
Yeah, also work is messaging me right now for something that I think I just fixed while you were talking.
6:30, tough shit.
Yeah, I actually told him, like, guys, I'm live streaming right now. It's cool that in my company they all know, like it's official that this is another job I have outside of work. All right. But anyway, things of the day. So Scott's made a big deal about pointedly doing things of the day that are not in the theme of the GeekNights nights, which
also, it's a fun thing to basically say, well, I couldn't find a thing of the day that's related to today, so I'll just try to make it seem like this is a positive and not.
Yeah, I do it because I have a long backlog of things of the day that if we went by GeekNights nights are really only Thursdays. There's nowhere else to put those. But I went down this road because this is a video I'd seen before, but I saw it again because someone uploaded it to YouTube, and it's both incredibly banal and mundane and incredibly terrifying when you really think about what this is. This is a training video, and it's basically imagine someone live streaming what it's like to launch a nuclear missile. The actual for-real procedure from start to finish, from someone calls you while you're sitting on your chair fucking around playing a game on your Switch because there's nothing to do in that job, to you're about to nuke people. And it takes about 4 minutes and 32 seconds to launch a nuke. And this is just Does
it show the part where the people are winking at each other and not actually doing it and then saying they did it and it's not working?
You realize they're not allowed to face each other. And in fact, for Minutemen, which are the more recent, like older missiles work differently, but the Minuteman, which is the one that's kind of how things go today, with a few minor differences, but not many as far as I know, they can't see each other, and they're actually strapped into chairs facing away from each other, partly by design to avoid that possible problem.
Okay, good. Then he can't see me when if I don't know if the other guy's doing it or not, but I can say, "Oh yeah, I did it. It's not working. Oh no."
Yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to get into whether or not Scott's strategies will work or not, but I encourage you to watch this video because, one, it's a very good example of analog or like non-computer workflows, like process design and workflow design, and how to make a very complex workflow able to be like enacted under extreme circumstances. Like, you know, when you watch a construction site and like someone blows the air horn and people are like yelling back and forth at each other, there's a reason for that. And this is just a very, like, the military of the United States, if you ignore the terrifying problems of the military-industrial complex, something that the U.S. military has been extremely good about for a very long time is user experience design and process design in the real world, not just on a screen. And this is a very good example of that. But it's also terrifying how this extremely mundane and easy to follow set of steps leads to the deaths of millions. So what do you got?
All right. So a much better thing of the day than that does not involve horror. So there is an anime that was actually like it started out as like a little flash anime. Think like I don't know because it's like it's one of those things that only Japanese people know about, right? It's like it hasn't really spread around the world as much. I imagine it's sort of like more of like a Homestar Runner kind of category or a Mad Magazine kind of area thing. That's the gist I get from what I've read about it over, because I've heard about it before, but not too often. It's this thing called Eagle Talon. And Eagle Talon is basically it's sort of like a reverse superhero thing where it's like this group of villains is the main characters. And the hero, good person, is like a bully and a jerk, and it's really, you know, it's definitely mostly a humorous kind of thing, and it's you know, people in Japan, they all know it, right? Even though anime fans at an anime con in say the U.S. probably would never have heard of it, and so Eagle Talon had they got hired once by a Shimane prefecture to do some PR work, right? Because, you know, in Japan you're always like doing mascots for trains and police stations and all that stuff,
Yeah.
right? So what they did is they printed T-shirts, right? Because this is a group of humorous people making short little animes, right? And they made a T-shirt that said the Shimane prefecture is to the left of the Tottori prefecture. So the people at the prefecture we're like, what the hell? But it turns out that was really popular, and it even got in the news because it was so funny and clever, right? So what actually happened is, you know, Eagle Talon, you know, with their skills of humor, got so good at marketing. What they started a tradition. I think it says it started in 2011, so it's a 9-year-old tradition already, is that every year the Eagle Talon staff would produce a Shimane Prefecture calendar, and it's basically the Eagle Talon Shimane self-deprecating calendar. And it's basically a funny calendar that you could buy, and it would make money for the prefecture, I guess. I don't know. And it was just sort of a funny tradition that's been going on for almost a decade, right? Kind of nice, kind of humorous, very good. They recently did a different thing. This year, they said, all right, it started as a joke and then it became real, as things do, right?
That's the best kind of thing.
Right. They said, if anyone buys 1,000 calendars, we will make an anime, you know, like a 3-minute anime of you, right? So the Eagle Talon, the people who make Eagle Talon will make a you anime. So if Rim bought 1,000 calendars, then Eagle Talon crew would make a Rim anime that was 3 minutes long. And this married couple bought 1,000 calendars, and they had this huge cardboard boxes stacking up in there.
That is big, bought the Home Depot skeleton energy right there.
It cost 1.2 million yen, which is still a lot of money. How many is that? Let's see, 1.2 million.
I feel like that would be worth it.
It's about $12,000, right?
I feel like that might be worth it.
A little less than $12,000.
$12,000 for 3 minutes of anime? All right.
Yeah, the husband says he loves Eagle Talon. My wife saw the news that 1,000 calendars, and she thought it was a pretty fair deal if it gets you your own anime made. The wife said with a grin, "I'm looking forward to this becoming a joke. I can brag about saying that I did." So these are I kind of want to see this 3-minute anime that's made.
Oh, 100%. We got to review this on Geek Nights.
All right, so this is really awesome, and I hope that more awesome things of this nature occur, and I found out about them.
All right, in the meta moment, we have a new code of conduct. You can read it. It's pretty chill. We've only banned one person since we made it go live, so everyone's pretty cool in the Geek Nights community. We are I read one more page of the Tale of Genji, but I have not gotten yet to a page I have not already read.
Well, I didn't get a message from you saying that you were reading.
Because I did not get past where I stopped.
Ah, I see.
I'm still rereading to remember what was going on.
I see, but you read a page?
I read a page, but it didn't take as long to poop as I expected, so I only read that one. Well, one real page. It was like 3 pages on my phone, but it was like one real page.
All right, maybe I'll read to I can send you the message.
Uh-oh. It's going to be a really slow race. It's a game of chicken here. Otherwise, like, we're still stuck at home. Like, I don't know what we could say. We don't have any cons coming up. There was just breaking news about MagFest Online, and now there's going to be a VR component of it. We'll talk about that on the next Tuesday show.
The only other thing is I can tell you that for the rest of this year, I only have 13-ish. Not too many days left of work, right? 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 9, maybe like less than 15 days left of work this year, and then I do not have to work anymore. And also next week, I do not have to work at all. So obviously, I'm not going to enter into the shit talk territory and say all these great things I'm going to accomplish. But
oh yeah, I'm not talking about anything except the Utena thing because I have been making slow progress on pre-production for the next Utena episode.
However, I can safely say this. The odds of me accomplishing something and uploading some sort of work to the internet for you to enjoy are greatly increased between basically now, effectively, or at least this weekend, Saturday, right? And January 4th, 2021 being the last day, the first day I have to go back to work, I guess? Yeah. So in that time span, you can keep an eye on the Scott channels, and you might see. There's a chance you could see a lot. Who knows, right? But you will. I wouldn't bet on that, but I would bet on seeing more than 0. If you said, Scott, are you gonna do more than 0? I will say yes. I'll put money on that. Yeah. Are you gonna do a lot? Not putting money on it, but it's possible. Maybe I could get in a run, right?
Yeah.
It's 8 hours a day. I can tell you though that I realized. I haven't talked about, I guess, too much on Geek Nights itself, but I'm biking to nowhere lately, right? Because
like you do
outside, right? And I've been streaming my biking to nowhere on Twitch to not enough people to reach affiliate status. Not that I think if I reached affiliate status, I still would say no, I don't want it. But I realized that I'm not like walking. I sort of had this realization, like I'm basically spending all of my time sitting or laying because I'm not going outside or even leaving the apartment. So I realized, maybe I should like bike on the easiest mode like every single day, no matter what, even if I'm not going to bike on the hard mode, just to move my legs every day. And if I'm not working for 8 hours a day, there's at least an hour in there, right? So expect to see at least more of me biking to nowhere on Twitch. It's really just come and talk to me so I can, do something besides move my legs and stare out the window. So you can come talk to me. Whoa.
Yeah.
Just don't break the code of conduct or I'll just ban you with my phone.
All right, let's get right into it. So, in an ancient past, a game came out called Half-Life. You could get it on a CD. And there was a key on that CD that you had to type in when you installed the game. The CD was just the game. The key made the game work. If you had a copy of the game and you had a valid CD key, one thing you could do is play Half-Life Deathmatch online. And Half-Life had a way to make mods. The Valve, the company that made this game called Half-Life, had a modding system, and they actually made their own mod for Half-Life that they released on November 1st, 2000, more than 20 years ago.
Or actually quite a few official mods they made.
Yep.
Or acquired, right? People don't realize Counter-Strike was made by someone else. Valve bought Counter-Strike.
Yep. I was playing Counter-Strike before it was an official mod.
I don't know who made Day of Defeat, if that was internal or not. But
yeah. So On November 1st, 2000, one of these official mods was released called Ricochet.
Mm-hmm.
We were obsessed with it.
So the thing with Ricochet is we didn't even realize it existed. Because, see, before Steam, when you wanted to play Valve games online, there was a thing called WON, the World Opponent Network, that you used instead of Steam. And that handled the server listings of, like, you know, how to find a Counter-Strike server, right? The day Steam went live in 2000...
Oh, 2003. We were in Colony at RIT. September 12th, 2003. 17 years ago.
The day Steam went live is also the day I made a Steam account.
Because Steam did one thing. It updated Counter-Strike.
Right. Steam did not let you buy games. It was not a store at that time. It was a system to replace WON to help you find servers to play games on, to launch games, and to update those games, to keep them updated, because the system before then was when there's a Counter-Strike update, you have to like go to a website and download files and run them and stuff. Right? It was a pain in the ass.
But basically, you had to type your CD key into Steam for Steam to work.
Exactly. So
and you needed a CD key to play Half-Life or to play Counter-Strike or any mod.
Games on Steam yet, right? So I installed Steam, the original version of Steam, and I typed in my Half-Life 1 CD key, and appeared in Steam were not only Half-Life, but also Half-Life Deathmatch, Day of Defeat, you know, some other things, and Ricochet was there, and that's when I discovered the existence of Ricochet in 2003, because I could just right-click and install it for free. Today, apparently, if you want Ricochet, it's on Steam. It totally works, or else we wouldn't be talking about it. They want to charge you $5,
which might be worth it.
I guess you could. I guess you can technically pay $5 for Ricochet only, and not even have Half-Life 1 now.
Can you? I didn't actually look at Steam to see if that would work, because this is.
It's its own game, right?
It is its own game. I guess it comes with Half-Life 1.
Yeah, I don't know if you buy Half-Life 1 on Steam. I don't know if you get Ricochet.
What I don't know either, can I, with my Steam Half-Life 1, which I also own, could I just install the Ricochet mod directly?
That's a good question.
Is that even an option?
It still exists, and we still have our legacy copies that were grandfathered in from the original day of Steam, right? And having those Half-Life 1 CD keys means that I have Half-Life 1 on Steam as a game. Right?
Yep.
It's just to grab that copy from 1990 whatever that I had a CD for. It's just been grandfathered all the way right up to 2020.
I used a pirated CD key at the time, and it totally worked.
Oh, my CD key was not necessarily pirated, but some kid in high school gave me a CDR copy of his actual CD. And And he wrote his CD key on a piece of paper, and that's what I've been using this whole time.
Yep, I had a similar situation because a lot of people.
I didn't pay $50 for it.
Because remember, back then, most people did not play games online. So the CD key, most people didn't need it after they got Half-Life working on their computer. The CD key only became a problem if I used someone else's CD key to register a game online, and then someone else tried to do it, and Steam said, no, that was already done.
No, it actually didn't, because you could reinstall the game with your same CD key over and over, right? It couldn't tell if you had just moved.
Oh, that's true. But I'm saying if you tried to register it with Steam on a different account, I remember there was a problem.
Right. Once we had accounts. Before then, there weren't accounts. So the key was just the key. And then as soon as I obviously typed that key into Steam before that other kid did.
Yep. Same. So in RIT, we noticed this and we're like, oh, Ricochet. What's that? Let's play it. And we played it. And we got kind of obsessed with it. And we played it a lot.
So Ricochet, we did actually do an episode about this before, but we Googled, we searched our own database to try to find that episode, and I couldn't find it. And then a good listener, Naito, was like, aha, I found it. Apparently the episode was titled Tron Games of Tron, because we also talked about, Discs of Tron and GL Tron Bikes, right? All the other games of Tron. Because Ricochet basically is an unlicensed Discs of Tron FPS. I don't know why there's never been an official one. It makes no sense. I don't know why there isn't one in VR. It makes no sense.
Yep. I want to just install the Unreal Engine or even just Unity and just make Ricochet 2.
Right, for whatever you want. I mean, you can probably go back to that episode on Games of Tron. I'm curious if I say the same thing in that episode, which is, by the way, I feel okay repeating that episode because that episode is from like 2006, maybe. It's like a
Yeah, it was a long time ago. In fact, it was from 2009.
2009. It's
Tuesday, August 8th, 2009. The news on this episode. Tonight on GeekNights, we honor the upcoming movie Tron Legacy.
Which I rewatched recently.
By discussing various video games based on the world of Tron. So we did cover a ton of Tron games. In the news, the Slim PS3 is official. Some MMO problem, and PAX is coming.
Yep. So I'm curious if I said this in that episode, which I haven't re-listened to, but basically, for whatever else you want to say about Tron, you could talk about Tron for days, is that the games they portrayed in Tron the movie, right, are basically the greatest possible games.
Like they are legit good games. Like I like playing versions of these games people have made. I have my entire life. I was playing the hell out of like Snafu on the Intellivision.
As good as they were at making movies, like some game designer who worked on Tron the movie came up with the Tron disc throwing game, the murder highlight game, and the bike game. Like someone came up with those games while they were making as part of making a movie. Those games did not exist before that movie, and every one of those games is this genius, incredible game that is like better than the majority of games that actually exist today, at least as far as competitive multiplayer games that couldn't exist in real life as sports exist.
Yep.
And would require some sort of digital edition, right?
So before we actually review this game, what I will point out is that the only reason we're talking about it is recently, like last week, Scott just messaged me and he's like, hey, Ricochet is just on Steam. I wonder if it'll just work. And then a few minutes later, he messaged me and he's like, it just works. I'm in Ricochet.
Have to adjust a few settings because there were some bugs with your mouse flipping out all over
set
the place.
Mouse input to raw because this game is unchanged since the year 2000.
Enable raw mouse input, and then suddenly it works great. And also you have to find a server that wasn't laggy. I think the first server there were servers that were up, no one was playing.
Oh, dude, just before this GeekNights, I logged in I just started Ricochet because I wanted to grab a screenshot, and there were non-bots just playing on one of the servers, just regular human beings.
Yeah. So it's not a completely dead game. It's like there are
11 servers in the browser right now that are all up, and 2 of them have people in them.
Yeah, it's like there's like a very small handful of people in the world who kind of play that. Like when we played, there were 0 people playing.
Yep.
But like there was people playing this. You can get games of this
going.
Well,
we started playing with the listeners, and then someone who wasn't one of us joined the game.
Yeah, it was like us and listeners playing, and then suddenly player 1 joined, and we were like, "Who is that?" And it wasn't anyone we were talking to. So someone joined from nowhere. Who knows?
I imagine someone's just sitting there watching that browser, just waiting for someone to join a Ricochet game. That's their whole life.
So this game, which is 20 years old, right? You said it came out in 2000.
Yep.
Right. Has more, like, if you try to play some other games online that have, like, I don't know, Nidhogg. Like when we tried to play Nidhogg online at its height, we would have trouble finding opponents.
When I played Nidhogg online a couple weeks after its height, when it was in the decline, it was at the point to where I fought one guy, I beat him. I fought someone else, I beat them. Then I fought the first person again. Then the second person again. There were only 3 people in the world playing Nidhogg.
Right. So Ricochet, though, after 20 years, people are playing this game. Not a lot, but I would recommend if you're going to want to play it online, you find people to play with.
There is now, we're going to get this going. There is a Super Pichu in the GeekNights Discord has posted a dedicated server for all of us.
Yeah, so come to the GeekNights Discord and come play Ricochet with us. So what the deal with Ricochet? Ricochet is a first-person shooting competitive multiplayer game.
But with extreme minimalism.
Yes, it is. I mean, it probably took Valve, right, in 20 years ago, like not as long amount of time to slap this thing
like
together.
The game design doc for this could not be more than 1 page.
Right. The hardest part about making a Half-Life 1 mod especially is the map, and the maps are small and only have a few components and textures, and they are repeated.
There are 4 maps, and actually the 4th one I had never seen until this past weekend.
Yeah. And what it is it's basically discs of Tron. You are a Tron dude. You can't even jump. You have your controls are WASD to move, mouse to look around, and you can click to throw a disc.
Primary attack and secondary attack. And while you can look around, you can only shoot straight forward like Doom style.
You can't crouch, right? Your disc will, even if you're looking up at the sky, your disc will go straight at the same elevation at which you are standing, right?
Yep.
So if you're on a high up platform, it's going to shoot, up there on that level. If you're on a lower platform, it's going to shoot at that low level. If you can step on these like arrows on the edge of the platforms, and they will automatically bounce you. You can't jump; they bounce you when you step on them, and they are calibrated perfectly so that if you step on one, you're going to land on the platform you're heading towards.
As long as you don't touch any directional input. We'll get back to that.
Right. So you just use WASD, walk around, you'll go from platform to platform. If you throw a disc while you're jumping, then it's unlikely to hit anyone because it's only people who are on that exact level are people who are also jumping, and it's going to be really hard to.
Yeah, but if you're good, you're good. I've killed some people in midair.
Secondary attack, so the discs that you throw, right, if they hit someone, they don't kill them. They just sort of nudge them, and you're trying to nudge them off the platform so they die. Right?
Yep.
It's murder disc. If you use the secondary attack, it uses all 3 of your discs. So if you don't have 3 discs at the moment, you can't use it. It throws a chainsaw blade that if it hits someone, decapitates them and they die.
Yep, insta-kill.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. It's really good close-up when you're not going to miss with that. If you shoot it and miss, guess what? You're out of discs.
So there's also little walls all around the map, but they're tiny. Like they're just at the points where if you're standing on a platform, they will catch a disc, and disc will bounce off of them. You get 2 points for a kill if you kill someone with a ricochet, and you get 3 points for a kill if you kill someone with a 2+ bounce ricochet.
Yeah, so that's where the name Ricochet comes from, right? You throw.
That's where the skill is. That's how you get good.
You want the disc to bounce off the wall and then hit somebody and knock them off the platform. And it's like, not only do you have to calculate the angles like billiards of like, I throw the disc here, it's going to bounce off that, then bounce off that, and then go there. You also have to calculate, you look at someone and you don't want to shoot it where they are. You want to shoot it where they're going. Like in Space Invaders, right? So you have to say, all right, well, there's Rim. He's moving. Where's he going to be? Throw a disc so it bounces twice and then is where Rim is going to be when he gets there. That is ridiculous. Like for such a tiny game, the skill to do that is the cap is so high. Right.
Yeah, this is a dive kick situation. There's so few mechanics and so little to engage with in this game, yet the skill barrier is immense. You could practice this game for a long time and not be a god at it.
Right. And also just the awareness you need while playing to also dodge discs, right? Is like this is whole arena, but you can only see your FOV at once, and discs are flying and bouncing and the other character is somewhere. So you not only have to maintain the awareness of where you are, where your discs are going, what discs you have, if there's a power up in the middle that appears and gives you better discs occasionally.
Yeah, it's like quad damage. There's like an ice shot, an auto decapitator, a homing shot, and a fast shot and a triple shot.
I think the homing shot is the ice shot, or no? Are they 2 different ones?
I think they're different. I don't remember. I don't think about it that much.
You're going to maintain awareness of all these things with a very small FOV, right? And you could die at any moment. So it's a like this game as a game, like technologically, does it hold up? I mean, it still works. It doesn't look great. It looks like Half-Life 1.
It looks janky as hell.
Yeah, but it still plays just fine.
It's a compelling game. Like the game loop is compelling. When we started playing again, we just kept playing for hours because it was super fun.
The game design is timeless and offers crap tons of replay value, right? That's something that someone came up with. I guess Tron, the movie, came out when I was born, basically, right? A game that someone thought of then is still an amazing game today, better than a lot of multiplayer competitive games you can get. Like, I think it's like maybe Rocket League is on this level of goodness, right? This game is like, just based on the game alone, this is Rocket League level of goodness.
Now, part of what makes it so great is that it has a deathmatch mode where like everyone's just in a map. Like the map is for deathmatch, just free for all, get the most kills.
Maps are big. Like they have multiple tiers where you're going up and down to different levels of platform.
But the best map is the duel. It'll just take all the players, however many people are in the server, divide them up into groups of 2, and you all simultaneously on your own duel one other person for like a best of 3 or a best of 5.
Yep.
And then
It's more
after
fun
all,
than round
once your
robin
match is done, you just watch other people. Once all the matches are done, it rotates everyone like Swiss style. Play again.
It's just like a round robin. You get into one-on-one duels with everyone. And since the map for that is so small and so simple, even the Half-Life server can spawn several copies of the map all at once.
Yep.
Because it's such a tiny map. Even like you could spawn up like 10 of those maps, it still wouldn't be as big as Dust 1 or whatever.
And it is such a game of concentration and bluffing and counter bluffing and anticipating your opponent and faking. It's a really surprisingly intense experience for a mod of Half-Life from the year 2000.
Yep. And because the biggest thing is that, this is not Counter-Strike. You click on a head and you got him, right? This is you throw a disc, much more like another great game, Tribes 2.
Ah.
Right? The disc, you can see it move.
Or Windjammers.
Right? It's a lot more like Doom, where an imp throws a fireball at you. You see it. You strafe to the left to dodge it, right?
But you strafe to the left, but they'd already thrown a disc in the other direction that bounced and is now headed for that position because they're good.
Right. They threw a disc, it's bouncing, then they threw a disc straight at you. You dodge to the side, and thus they control where you are moving. And oh, look, you've moved to where the disc was the first disc was going to be.
Yeah.
Right? If I can't predict where rim is going to be, I can influence where rim is going to be to help my shot that I have already thrown previously.
Or maybe I see what Scott did, I'm bluffing, and I turn around and threw a disc through one of those teleporters, and I know it's going to come straight back into my face just as Scott comes to kill me.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing, like, remember way back when we said you jump from these platforms and they're calibrated to take you to whatever platform they're pointed at. Like, that's fine. If you move your WASD while you're in flight, you can control your flight. 99% of the time, if you do that, you'll just die because you'll just fall off the map. But
if you touch an arrow with your feet and it goes bonk, and you hear that bonk noise, that indicates that it is now launching you through the air to the
just
next.
like let go of their keyboard immediately.
You do not want to press any of the WASD keys, because you will likely, if you touch any of them while you're in flight, will make you fall in the hole and die.
But this is where the skill caps start to come in, and why this game's skill cap is so high. Because if you are good, one thing you can do is bounce off of something, but hold forward and land right back on the same bouncer.
Yep, it is technically possible that if you press the WASDs in the correct way and with good manipulation, because there's no jump button, you can guide yourself through the air and land in a place that is not the pit of death,
but a different platform.
Yes, not the platform you were normally supposed to go to. So
it could be the same platform.
It could be. So you step on an arrow, it makes a bonk noise. Your opponent sees where you were. They now think you're going to platform X. You actually land on platform Y. They threw discs that ricocheted over to platform X. They don't have discs right now. You're on platform Y looking at them, right? They're looking somewhere else, right?
That subtle difference. The fact that you can, with a high skill maneuver, it's not frame perfect. It's not that bad, but it requires a significant amount of practice and skill. That opens up so many tactical possibilities. That alone probably quadruples the depth of this game if you actually try to get good at it.
And it's definitely, you can even tell that like the maps were arranged to allow this intentionally. At least I believe so, because
I'd believe this too.
In the dual arena, right? There's the two central platforms with a little connector.
Yep.
If you go onto one, and you just sort of naturally try to wrap yourself around off the jump to land on the other central platform instead of the outside platform, you sort of line up with the arrow on the destination platform.
Yep.
Like it's like measured so perfectly, and it's like there's no way that that's just a coincidence that performing this wraparound maneuver that feels like an accident of the game, the way that a rocket jump was an accident of Quake or whatever.
Yep, or last hitting was an accident of Dota.
Yeah, lands you so perfectly on the other platform, right? It's not like you're landing on like the bare edge of it and managing to stay on with like a trick or something like that, or like a bomb jump in Zelda that jumping over a gap where it seems unintentional. It feels intentional when you do it.
So what I would say, one, if you check your Steam library, there's decent odds you already own Ricochet, whether or not you even realize it.
If your Steam account is old, it is likely you have the game Ricochet.
And if you do, honestly, install it, turn on raw mouse, because otherwise it won't work, most likely, and then just play. Like, there's servers. come to our Discord and join the server. It is worth playing this for $0. This game is 100% worth playing.
I don't know if I would spend $5, not because the game itself is not $5 good.
Because it is $5 good. I'm going to say that.
Will you actually be able to play it enough to make up your $5?
Unless you are going, what I would recommend is come join the GeekNights Discord and maybe like watch us playing and decide if you want to like join in on that fun or not. Because we might be the only community that is going to actively
gonna be playing Ricochet, right? Like once in a while, I don't know.
like I could see myself playing this like every few nights, but I don't know if I'll do that forever. But it's gonna be a long, cold winter. I'm gonna be playing a lot of online games, I think, during COVID times. So
yeah, I mean, I can't, like I said, I can't guarantee how productive I will be during these non-working periods, but I can absolutely guarantee I'm gonna be just playing some fucking video games.
yeah. So if you are an aspiring game developer or designer, especially a designer, even if you don't own this game, buy it and play it and really try to internalize how much it does with so little.
If you are working at like a game studio that is making any kind of competitive multiplayer real-time game whatsoever, you should get your team together and play Ricochet for an afternoon or for an hour or something.
Like if I was teaching game design at a school, I would assign Ricochet to the class.
I would assign games of Tron. I'd be like, we're going to split the class into 3 groups. One group is going to make Murder Highlight, one group is going to make Ricochet, and one group is going to make Bikes, right?
All right. And if you're interested, I'll link to the ancient episode we did on all those Tron games, and I wonder if we said anything different about Ricochet. It'll be really funny if we said the exact same things, which we might have.
Listen and tell us.
Yeah. All right.